This episode of Blacktop Banter is brought to you by CRAFCO, the world's leading manufacturer of packaged pavement preservation materials and equipment for the asphalt industry. Learn more at CRAFCO.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of Blacktop Banter. We're live in the studio. It's been a minute since we've been in the studio. And Jessica is here in the flesh, and we're going to get into a conversation. All right, so it's been a minute, right? You and I have interacted quite a bit back and forth over the years and been fortunate enough to be in a lot of same places at the same time and work together on a lot of different things. And thankfully, I have a clean studio that's not in an asphalt company setting to where you're like, okay, yeah, the floors are clean. There's not sealer going to be stuck to my clothes from the chair or anything.
I wouldn't be worried about that.
So I'll come see it. All right, well.
It is a beautiful studio.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Chris did all the design. Good job, Chris. And
He's okay.
Yeah, he's all right. The verdict's still out. He hasn't been in long enough yet. But for those of you who don't know, Jessica is the content director of marketing services at AC Business Media and the conference manager at Pave, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, and we're excited. But first, I kind of wanted to dig in. I know most of us know you throughout the asphalt industry, but the one thing about Blacktop Banter is we never know who is just starting to watch and listen. So I kind of wanted you to give us a little bit of background. How long have you been in the industry? How'd you get started, and go from there?
Yes, so I have been a part of AC Business Media for about 10 years, and I started as associate editor on Pavement Maintenance Magazine and Asphalt Contractor. So I really got to learn both sides of our industry, both the road building side and that commercial residential maintenance side. And as I progressed in the industry, went to trade shows, met wonderful people, I really got to know, the manufacturer side of the business, the people who sponsor our magazines and the equipment that the contractors use. And I really thought that they needed help telling their stories.
Sure.
And so that's how I got into the content director role, really helping them, meet the right contractors to get out on job sites and to do their marketing and get their messaging across better.
You developed almost like personal relationships with the people in those companies, right? Like they became your friends.
They're some of my best friends. They're some of the best people and on the contractor side too, people like you, all of these people in this industry are just some of the best people I've ever met.
Yeah. And the wild thing is, right, when it comes to a marketing company, whether it's a magazine or the podcast here or whatever, is that allows you to create content, whether that's on digital or whether that's on paper in the magazines or whatever, that has a personal feel that people can relate with. And that's one thing I noticed kind of when you were at Pavement Mag, that was coming through on the pages, right? You wouldn't have been able to do that without developing personal relationships and doing that type of stuff.
And I think one of the most important things that we do on both sides of our industry, both, developing content for contractors who need to know how to, properly pave a road or properly seal coat or, maintenance at their asphalt plant, as we listen.
Yeah.
And that kind of transferred from, getting that what the contractors needed and then, meeting all the manufacturers to what they need. And you're really able to make the best of both worlds. Like, well, the contractors don't know what about buying their first asphalt paver.
Correct.
So, Leeboy, you have all of these entry-level pavers. Like, let me help you develop some content that, will get you some leads or help you meet your customers where they're at. And so that's why I love the content director role.
Do you think that it has been incredibly advantageous to you? I think it has, for you to have such a good pulse on the state of the industry almost at all times. Like, because you with Asphalt Contractor and then Pavement Mag and then the conferences that you help run and put together, it seems like there's a progression, right? You've been at it for 10 years. So you watched me be just me, seal coating out of a tank of a truck, to where we have the office and we have crews and now we have subcontractors and we have paving jobs and different things. You've witnessed that all the way up through. So has that taken into account your view and you knowing the status of the industry when it comes to, hey, we really need this piece of content, or hey, we need to have this class at this conference? I mean, is that Am I correct in saying that that's really
Absolutely.
what you do? You have that great feel that allows you to put pieces out like that?
Yeah, and I think that, I knew very early on in my career at AC Business Media that I would never want to leave this industry. And so being able to really work for a company that lets me lay my own path and say, like, this is what I'm passionate about, and this is the background I have, and I want to build on that and be able to take it to the next level. The content director role never existed before I said I wanted to do it. I was like, hey, I think that I can start helping clients create content for their business because marketing companies are stretched so thin,
Yep.
and they might not have, like I said, like the pulse on the industry like you and I do.
Yeah.
We're talking to contractors every single day, and
Yeah.
so being able to, like I said, combine that the worlds where the worlds collide is that, and that's what marketing companies really need.
Yeah.
They might not have people who have the boots on the ground using the equipment all the time, but you and I do
Yeah.
because we grew up
That's what makes a
getting to know
difference.
them and learning what they needed and that building that trust.
Yeah. Yeah. You almost got raised on blacktop, kind of a
Well,
little bit, but
not that. I'm not
I
that
I
cool.
did.
I'm not that
I know
cool.
I did, but yeah, I think 10 years, Jess, we're talking
Yes,
10 years
absolutely.
in this industry, you almost if you haven't seen everything, you've heard everything for
Hmm.
sure by then, right? And I think that people kind of understate the importance and the great use of the networks that exist here and that we build and that we're part of because they become such a great resource,
Hmm.
right? So for me on the contracting side, if I need advice, I can call anybody,
Yeah.
right? That's there, whether it's Brainy or whether it's Chris Love or whether it's Chris Tammany or anybody.
Hmm.
And there's never a situation that I'm in that they haven't figured out yet.
Correct.
I talked to Todd Eichholz this morning about a situation that's going on where I'm like, my world is burning down, and he's like, "Pff,
Ah.
that's nothing. Like this is how you develop the plan to come through that and get that taken care of. But on on your end of it too, those same people that I use as a resource, you're able to use as a resource.
Hmm.
I look at them as experts and people with great advice to help me out as a contractor, and you're able to use them for people that are able to teach and different things
Yep.
at different events and whatnot. Um, what I obviously this is probably going to be repeat from what you've already said, but when it comes to the industry, the asphalt industry, whether that's the contractor side or manufacturer side or even road building side or whatever, it all is encompassing. What do you love most about the industry? Because you said you realized early on that you knew you didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
I essentially can't leave, but with you to know that you didn't want to leave early on, what do you love most about it that was able to affirm that for you?
Yeah, and you touched on it too. It's the people and it's their willingness to help you no matter what. If it's like I just don't understand what this does. Like what is
Mm-hmm.
oscillation? I don't know.
Right.
Help me. So,
Right.
those type of things and I felt immediately comfortable on a trade show floor going up to the manufacturers like, what does this do? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what that does. And they're like, come on a job site. Like, I
Yeah.
need you to be on a job site for you to understand it. And so that was initially where I was like, wow, this is a really welcoming, comfortable place. And
Yeah.
then you keep building and growing and you develop those personal friendships with those people, but then you can still be able to rely on them.
Yeah.
And on the contractor side, the pavement advisory board on the magazine,
Mm-hmm.
those guys have lived it. They have been through, like you said, everything. And, having their cell phone numbers, just texting them like,
Yeah.
what does this mean? Or I think this might be a good idea for a piece of content or for a conference
Yeah. A
program.
panel or a
Yeah, like what
program.
do you think? And then they're able to be like, yeah, I think that would be great. Make sure you're talking about, X, Y, and Z
Mm-hmm.
while in your discussion or in your article. And then, well, hey, would you like to sit on this panel for me,
Yeah.
or would you like to teach this class? And you're it's kind of a big ask to have people take the time to develop the article with you, or you know leave their families and their jobs to come and speak for you.
Yeah.
Everybody's just so willing to do it because that's what I love most about this. I just feel like you guys are my brothers, my best friends.
Yeah.
It just
I think there's a it takes away the stress and anxiety when you want to do something
hmm
when you know that you have people willing to partake and be part of it,
and
right?
they trust you and you trust them. You know,
Yeah.
that mutual trust, even though, you haven't known people very long, but you just know that everybody has each other's back and the best interests of the entire industry at heart.
Yeah. What my favorite thing, I think, is when we go to an event, whether that's Ignite or a conference. I'm sure it's going to happen at Pavex when we're there too. Is when we're either looking at a panel or we're in a class, and somebody is teaching or telling us the correct way to do something, and then there's person here, 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 and here who tells you the correct way to do it,
Hmm.
which isn't the same way as that one,
Yeah.
which they're not all the same way. Um, Obviously, that's an ego thing with some people. It's totally not when we're at conferences and
No.
whatnot. No one, they don't really want to be right, but they do want to let you know a different way to make things work. And there's all these different scenarios where things can work right. Like
Mhm.
if we have a panel, like if there's a panel last year at Ignite and we swap those 4 people out, the the their insights and ways to do things correctly are probably going to be different than the people that were there before. That's fantastic
Mhm.
because if it's all the same way, but yet your situation isn't that situation, you don't have the answer,
And I
right?
think that's why Ignite was so successful, is because it's a different way of learning.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one person up there giving you their perspective on how they think it's done. When we're developing content, we're making sure that it's not, regionally specific or specific to any type of one product or
Right.
one machine. So, they are trying to give overall best practices, but on Ignite, you're right. You get all the different perspectives, and then the audience is able to ask questions. And then you hear from another audience member, well, I did this. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's so much more collaborative in that way. And I can't tell you the number of people who are just like, I have never been to an event like Ignite. It was the best thing I've ever done for my career, for my business.
It
Not
is.
only the opportunities to learn with the panels, but the networking after
That's the
too.
that's the ticket. I mean, that's really the ticket. For me, when we were at Ignite, the topics were great. There was, it was great insight into different things, but it's stuff that I had heard somewhat before, but with a different spin on it. When that conference is over, we're at least last year, we were at a beautiful resort
Hmm.
where you didn't want to leave.
No.
And the only people you knew were the people that were right there in that group. So that's who you gravitate towards. And you have all these great conversations and you develop great relationships. Um, Todd and Mary, right, who've been a guest on the podcast and
Hmm.
who I had the great pleasure of spending time with, we did, right?
They're Ignite OGs. They were
Yeah,
at the very first Ignite when there were
they're
11
down.
people.
Yeah,
11 people.
I know.
There were two of them.
Yeah, they,
So,
and
hi, Todd and Mary.
and they were at Con Expo with us, right?
Hmm.
They did Blacktop Banter from the Con Expo podcast area, which was fantastic. I was thankful to have them, but it, to learn more about their story and then be unique, and then to be able to call them friends,
Hmm.
right? Something changes when you attend something like Ignite, because I don't think I've ever called Todd and Mary or talked to them or texted them about work, because damn, they're way above where we are at Wisco and probably will always be. But when Todd got injured, I called over and was like, hey, whatever. And
Hmm.
then when stuff was happening with me, Mary will be like, wow, you guys are doing great, fantastic, whatever. You don't develop that, especially it's a lot harder to develop it at the huge conferences because you don't really get special time with
Yeah.
people. But at Ignite, you definitely did. And
Yeah.
that's I seen Mary's going to be on the panel right this year,
Yes.
so you get to know her more and understand she's like a
She
savage.
is a
I know, I
badass.
know, I know, and I'm like, dude, I'm listening. Like, I'm totally in depth listening to what
And I
Mary's got to
think
say.
that, like you said, they're a large company. They do civil construction. They do, road building, and so they have a really unique perspective as well to bring to the attendees of Ignite, and
Yeah,
and that's why, continuing to get the word out about this event, and so that we can continue to bring in all those unique perspectives is super important.
yeah. You find people, and I think you've probably found it. I know that you have a unique role in the industry, but at these events and conferences and interacting with the community, whether that's online, you get a mixed bag nowadays because there's so many people in a lot of the groups and forums and stuff that it's hard to filter through and find like the actual great stuff and great people there. But you find people that look like you and that sound like you and talk like you. And then when you start talking to them, you realize that they kind of have a life like you have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's what's great about having people like Mary on the panel is that there are people that look like her that have that unique perspective that at some point probably didn't see that, right?
Right.
Most of the time you see a panel full of contractors and men that are business owners and operators. When we're able to mix that up, and you guys have done a great job diversifying in that, that really helps to reach a lot of people in a lot of different ways. And I'm hoping that, you know, this time coming forward, our industry gets that shakeup. You know, we have the women of asphalt and
Mm-hmm.
everything else as well. What are you excited about in the industry? I know you have a shirt on today. We're both very excited about, but what are you excited about in the industry, and how does that parlay into Pavex?
I just think that we're at such a fun time in our industry right now, especially you and I in our careers where we've worked so hard and done so much, and here we are being trusted with big things.
Yeah,
Big things like a brand new event called Pavex,
yeah,
which I know we're gonna get into more, but being able to take everything I've learned over the last 10 years and build something that will actually add value to other people's businesses, that is a responsibility I do not take lightly at all. But
right.
I'm so excited and honored to be able to be the conference manager for this brand new event and have people, hopefully come to both events. And because I know what I've been, had conversations with over the last 10 years of what people want and people need
Mm-hmm.
and how to create something that will really add value to their businesses and their lives.
Yeah.
And one thing that we're going to talk about more too is you go to these events and yeah, you meet a couple people and you'll get their numbers and texts, but we need a year-round mentorship program in our industry.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's another thing that we're going to be unveiling at PaveX too, which we can talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. We're going to take a quick commercial break, get some words from our sponsors, which I'm thankful for. Most of them are sponsors at Pavex and whatnot too. So we're excited about having those partners and be able to mutually show you guys some information on them. So let's jump to those real quick, and then we'll come back with Jessica and talk more about Pavex. Asphalt maintenance contractors. Winter's just around the corner, and we all know the harmful effects that colder months have on pavement. Here at Wiscoat, we've tried a lot of products. We keep coming back to CRAFCO because of their crack and joint sealers are the best in the industry. No matter the climate that you're located in, CRAFCO has products that will fit your needs. Find the full product lineup at crafco.com. That's CRAFCO.com. Have you seen the smoothness and compaction that Dynapack seismic technology has recently brought to the asphalt industry? It's incredible. And Dynapack's CC900G roller may just be the best roller on the market for driveway and parking lot paving contractors. It's even better than the little yellow one that you're used to seeing. But don't take my word for it. Give the CC900G a test run yourself by visiting Dynapack.com and finding a retailer near you.
Say goodbye to potholes and roadway damage without the need for large crews, heavy equipment, or toxic chemicals. AQUAPHALT is the only permanent repair material for asphalt and concrete that uses water. And installation is simple. Just pour, add water, and tamp. It's that easy. An AQUAPHALT repair can be opened to traffic immediately and fully sealed within 24 hours. Plus, the product is backed by a 3-year warranty and is made in the USA. Visit aquaphalt.com. That's AQUAPHALT.com to learn more.
I'm incredibly proud of the Blacktop Banter Edition seal coating unit produced in partnership with KM International and available now in both the 550 and 700 gallon versions. Custom built on the same frame as their bulletproof hot boxes, I work closely with KM to design what I believe is the best seal coating unit on the market. A unit designed by a contractor for contractors. See the entire walkthrough of the unit on Blacktop Banter's YouTube channel or visit kminternational.com to learn more and place your order. Since its inception, Dubuque Asphalt Maintenance has branded our trucks with the 1-800-BLACKTOP number from the 800 Pavement Network and consistently seen increases in leads and jobs completed. I know the 800 Pavement Network can do the same for your business. Visit 1-800-PAVEMENT.com and get set up with your custom phone number today. All right, everybody, we're back, and we're back with Jessica Lombardo, who gave us a great background of how she got into the industry and what she's excited about and what really makes it click and makes it click for all of us. But we were kind of hinting and talking to some points in the first part of the podcast about Pavex,
Mhm.
which we're really excited. Blacktop Banter is a founding partner of that with you all. So we're really excited. One thing that we were talking about in that last segment were the people that make it up, the preparation that goes into it.
Mhm.
We're really excited here at Blacktop Banter to see how we can bring it to the larger audience doing what we do through content creation and what that looks like for us. I really want to know, this is a blanket question because there's so many points I know we're going to talk about, but we essentially with Pavex, you and I have had conversations before about conferences and whatnot.
Mhm.
We always were like, if we could have a blank slate and bring it the way that we have heard our peers, contractors say that they would love to have it brought, that would be fantastic.
Mhm.
We have year one coming of Pavex. What are you super excited about with Pavex?
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of points, but we'll
Yeah.
let you get started.
So between Amy Schwant, who is the show manager of Pavex, and myself, we have over 30 years of experience in this industry. That's 30 years of listening to what goes into creating a great event.
Mhm.
Because you have the conversations at the events. You're like, man, wouldn't it be great if we could do this? Or wouldn't it be great if we could do this? And with this brand new, Pavex is the Pavex experience.
Correct.
We were really, when we were developing and thinking of a name, and I mean, that was the longest
Yeah.
conversations of our lives. It's like, what are we going to call this? We really wanted to make sure we were calling it an experience because it's not a trade show. It's not
Right.
just a conference. We want people to come and be immersed in our industry.
Mhm.
And so people have been asking for years for equipment demonstrations,
Yep.
live equipment demonstrations.
Yeah.
And so when we're looking at places to host this, that's the hardest part. We need a parking lot big enough to host this equipment and have it be able to
Do its
run
thing.
around and put sand through it and then sweep the sand up. And
Yep.
oh, by the way, we need bleachers and we need a beer cart.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
you
my
definitely
request,
need a beer
actually,
cart.
was the beer cart.
For sure.
But then we want food trucks. We want, we really want to bring something that's not only going to be, educational
Right.
with
Four
the
walls and
equipment
classes.
there, but we also want it to people to be able to not just kick the tires and sit on the seat.
Yeah.
You can actually get in the equipment
And
you
run
can
it.
see it running.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the equipment demonstrations is what we were really wanting to have when we were developing Pavex.
It's super exciting.
I think that's what most people are excited about. We have 12 companies that are going to demonstrate
demos.
equipment, and those are sold out.
Sweet.
There's just not enough time in a day to do everything. So, as we move forward and we learn, what's working best, maybe we'll only have a demo day where we can do all day equipment demos. But with Pavex, mornings are focused on in-classroom education
Yep.
with people who are way smarter than I could ever be. And then, we go right out to the equipment demo lot. And then we also have a huge trade show floor with over 75 exhibitors.
Dang.
The biggest ones in the industry, the Workins, the Lee Boys, the Aztecs, Blacktop Banter will be there.
Yes, we will
Chemtech
be there.
we're having, just the most influential people in the industry will also have a presence on the trade show floor as well.
Yeah.
So there's all those things we wanted to make sure we were educating, demonstrating, and connecting people.
Yeah.
And that was something that was important too, was being able to provide those networking opportunities where
Mhm.
people who are brand new to the industry can find the help that they need to do the job the right way and do it in a way that keeps elevating what we do.
That's an experience.
The pavement experience.
Right. That's an experience. You hinted to the networking side of it. Through our partnership, we're going to do the Blacktop Banter Conference kickoff,
Mm-hmm.
which only happens once a year, only happens at one conference. We're doing it at Pavex, right? So
Mhm.
that'll be the night before the conference kicks off. You arrive there, come meet everybody, do the networking, start the experience there. We've come to know, you and I, over the years that we've been to a lot of different venues, a lot of different cities. The cities are great,
Mm-hmm.
and picking a city is important, but we've been places where we've been snowed on, rained in, and we've been stuck with each other for 3 or 4 days, and you think there's no way this is going to be fun. But it is
Mhm.
because of the networking and the relationships we develop and stuff. The conferences are great inside the 4 walls, but it's really everything together that makes
Yeah.
it an experience. So to have Pavex focus on that right away rather than that be a byproduct
Right.
of a conference is going to be something I think that makes it really unique and really amazing for everybody.
And the first show, it was really important to get that location right. So San Antonio, I had never been before, but you go there and everything is so close.
It's tight.
It's so, everybody, I can just picture everybody meeting up on the Riverwalk after the demonstrations get done.
Going to the Alamo and being like,
yes.
that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I know.
I
know.
It was be bigger
I know
too.
it is. And it just surrounded by all these bigger buildings. I got there. I was like, I thought it was going to be on a knoll. There would be places to park, but it's still really awesome to attend.
San Antonio is a really cool town. It has a great vibe to it that we really think the contractors will enjoy.
Yeah.
And, the demonstration lot is a block away from the conferences.
Perfect.
And the trade show floor is attached to the host hotel, which is the Grand Hyatt. So it all has that really close feeling that we know is important to the guys and to the people who attend.
The other thing that really excites me about it is sometimes we get people that don't attend because it's different conferences or whatever we're doing, events, because it's at different parts of the country, right? Like, yeah, maybe they do want to go. There's some people that I've seen at like different events. If we were in like Ohio, or if we were in Charlotte, or if we were wherever, that I know are only there because it's in their backyard.
Right.
That's pretty cool when we think about Texas, because I know that we have some friends from Texas that have been in the magazine and different things like that can make the trip. And there's other people in Texas who are like, I'm never leaving Texas. And they're going to be able to make the trip. And maybe it'll be the first time we get to meet people. That's what excites me the most, is that because of the experience you guys have created, it's an opportunity for us to meet new people and have conversations. As you can probably tell, and everybody in the whole world knows, I love to talk to people, right? And meet new people and do things. Yeah, I know, it's preposterous, right?
I had no idea.
So I'm super excited about that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we had the Ignite conference last year where I met Todd and Mary, and they're some of my best friends now in the industry. And after so long, you can give each other a little crap and it becomes banter and you develop relationships. And I'm super excited about that with Texas. I'm hoping those relationships are larger because everything's bigger in Texas, apparently, right? So the thing that I want to ask you is, what would you love to see, or what would you love to hear as far as the reactions and stuff that will come out of Pavex and what we're going to do down there in San Antonio?
For me, the education has been so important to me. And it's just been this absolute labor of love since we picked a location and a date. And it's like, okay, I have 60 hours of education to fill. And so going and seeing, what articles over the years on our website have really performed really well. Like, seeing those keywords that people are constantly searching for, and then developing a educational program from there, and then finding the right speaker that's gonna really bring value to the attendees, and not only bring value as a teacher, but be a resource for them after the show. I think for me, that would be the biggest just bonus of this event, is that if people were like, not only did I get the education I need here, but I found somebody that can help me the rest of the year. And so that's where this mentorship program is going to come in, and we're gonna find mentors, and we're gonna have office hours for mentors.
Cool.
And so they're going to have 1 hour each month that contractors can call in and ask whatever questions they want. Cool. Moro Kamuzi with the paving lady, he's really helping me to develop that program, and he's super passionate about giving people the resources they need, and being just a phone call away if they have any issues or any questions, anything. So
the thing that I think some people maybe on the outside looking in, right? They see, yep, we get to demo this stuff. Yep, we get to see it in person.
The equipment is very important to
majorly
this
important.
Event, and being able to see it and touch it and feel it, and hear from the people who developed it.
Your brain always goes there.
Important thing. Yeah.
If you're a contractor and you're looking at a piece of equipment, you're like, yeah, but how does it compare to what I have? Or what? Yeah, that's a cool feature. Does it work? Is it something that I'm going to be interested in? And we're going to be able to do that, right, at Pavex. That's what we've always wanted. We've known it as a contractor, like so early on. That's the stuff you wanted to do. You wanted to, run water through the seal coat rigs and watch them spray and do those types of things. I think that the thing that we're probably going to hear most, I hope anyways, is that you get that sense of like, finally, like this one did it all.
Yeah.
Like this one did it all. And I'm super excited about that. How hard is it? Like what is the biggest challenge that you find putting something like this together?
I think that I had no idea everything that went into this. I mean, we had to put together an exhibitor kit and pick the colors of the drapes and the carpet, and just logistics of picking your booth and the space, and okay, where's the Hops and Highways Lounge going to go? Where are we going to have the round tables? And just doing it in a way that makes sense and that will be best for everybody.
Mhm.
And then we want to make sure we're getting everything that we promise
Right.
and that people will enjoy. So all the logistics of it and the site visits and going and being like, well, I had no idea. I don't know how many people will fit into a room. Like,
Right.
how many? You tell me.
Yeah.
So those type of things. And that's, again, like relying on the people who have been there, done that, and finding the right partners. And we absolutely have done that with Pavex. We have, so many people like South Tex, Brandon Leone is helping us get the sand for the demos. And I'm like, well, how much do we need? I mean, how much
is enough?
Exactly.
How much isn't enough?
I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
So, finding the right partners and really leaning back on those relationships that we've built to make sure we're doing it the right way and that nothing falls through the cracks, right?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I guess we need porta potties out on the
Oh,
demo
yeah.
site.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
for
like,
sure.
I
We
forgot
might
about
need
that,
those.
Yeah. So there's just so many things that go into building a successful event, and we're doing it.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure it's going to
Amy
go
and I
off.
are running around with our hair on fire.
I was gonna
but we
say.
also have a great team. Our marketing team is wonderful, and we're all wearing a lot of hats that we never even knew existed 6 months ago. So
Yeah, I'm sure it's all going to go off with zero problems. I'm sure they always do, don't
just
they?
like a wedding, like
That's
only
right.
me and Amy will know if anything's wrong.
Right.
hopefully.
That's right. That's true. I think that you know, there needs I don't not that there needs to be, but by a byproduct of like this conversation, I've known it, right? You and I had a conversation early on about our roles and what we do in the industry, and that you hinted to it earlier in the conversation that we realized, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, that the responsibility of um, bringing our industry to the world and whatnot is a big responsibility that somehow
Absolutely.
we found ourselves holding, right? Um, what's been fantastic is the fact that that burden that we kind of hit and realized it really in all actuality isn't that heavy because we're partnering together to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
We both bring something to the table, and then our friends that we develop bring something to the table too as well. I think that from what I gather and from when I think about Pavex and what we see and what's being brought to the table that you guys have delivered on, will deliver on, it brings an appreciation for you all and what you do. Most of us are just going to come to the event, attend it, say, "Wow, this was awesome," and that's it. We kind of get a peek for what you all do and what you put together. And what it also does is when you describe it, right, it lets people know there's an open door there too to interact. Like, take a survey. Tell us if you see us, like
Absolutely.
what we want and what we do.
Yeah.
That's true, right?
I mean, building this entire thing would not have been possible without people feeling like they could trust Amy and I to do something the right way.
Mhm.
And we take that very seriously because the entire industry needs the education to do their jobs correctly
Mhm.
and to do their jobs in a way that their customers will trust them and continue to trust them. And if, we have a lot of people who are doing things the way that maybe they shouldn't be done or are not providing a quality job, then that's bad for everybody.
Yeah.
And so building an educational program and the opportunity for people to get the right equipment and the right experience to do their jobs right, that's huge. And like I said, we don't take it lightly. And, we want to make sure we're building something that will ultimately bring so much value to the people who attend and to the entire industry.
On the show floor, we're gonna have, what'd you say, 78?
75.
75. Okay.
We were hoping for a lot more, but gosh, Workin bought a 60 by 60 booth and they're bringing like 20 pieces of equipment.
Perfect. That's what we want to see anyways.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know it. What I like is when they have pieces of equipment that have armatures, whether it's a mill or whatever people have, and it's hanging over like the part of
paver.
the booth or
Yeah.
over the paver,
Yep.
and they have it kind of in line. We've seen that at Con Expo, right? the Dynapack booth kind of had it in line the way that
Yep,
things would go with the
exactly.
mover to the roller, so it gets you an idea there. But what else at Pavex haven't we touched on? What will else be on the show floor? I'm sure the awards will be taking
Yep.
place.
So the
Correct?
pavement awards is a thing that we're having at Pavex. So we'll have our contractor of the year, sweeper of the year, all the big job awards we'll have there. We'll have an innovation theater, which is new, where manufacturers can, provide kind of background on their
Oh, really?
latest things that they're bringing to the show. So, if you don't have time to get to the booth or you don't have time to talk to a product expert at their booth, they're going to have, a 15-minute time slot, and it's going to be very informative and
Cool.
very also, people can sit and ask questions while they're up there. So
It's like a press conference without having to do the whole press
exactly.
conference schedule, the pre-day,
Exactly.
like a media day without having to do the media day. We
Exactly.
can get up there and ask them
And
those things.
yeah, we wanted it to be pretty informal, but also very educational. And sometimes it can be intimidating to walk into a booth
Oh, yeah,
and
and talk to
people
somebody.
about this piece of equipment, especially if the booths are very busy. So this just gives an opportunity to do that one-on-one, or after they get off the stage, like, oh, I attended your innovation theater presentation. I have a couple more questions.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's nice to know what you want to ask right beforehand
Exactly.
when you get there.
So there's the Pavement Awards, the Innovation Theater. We mentioned the Hops and Highways Lounge, which was a podcasting area.
Yep.
So, Marvin can be interviewing people at the show,
Yep.
doing things like that. And then we also have the roundtables, which have always been another opportunity for a learning experience.
Yep.
So facilitated discussions on paving, striping, sweeping, seal coating.
They're like a small Ignite. Like those,
Yeah,
they aren't
yep,
they? That's kind of
exactly.
what it reminds me of when you're there. It's like a mini hyper Ignite seminar or a panel.
And it's like another place to feel comfortable asking the questions that you might not feel comfortable asking in a
Yeah.
classroom setting, or even one-on-one sometimes.
Yeah. Well, sometimes what I find when we come to these is like I might see something day one, and I might not think of a question or an issue or anything like that until day 2 or day 3 or whatever, right? So the fact that we have multiple chances to talk about it or ask about it is fantastic, or for even the thought to be spurred on and brought on. So you've mentioned where we're going to be, right? San Antonio.
Mhm.
What was the name of the convention center?
So it's the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center in
Okay.
San Antonio, and it's attached to the Grand Hyatt Hotel. That's our host hotel
Okay.
for the event. And then a block up is the demonstration lab.
Okay.
We'll have the live equipment demos.
And the dates.
It is January 30th through February 1st.
Okay. So we're going through transition from a cold month to a colder month. Fantastic. But it'll be nice down there though.
San Antonio is beautiful.
I
I had never been there, and it just blew me away by how friendly everyone was, how walkable things were, all of the opportunities for food and drink. And Amy and I are doing our site visit at the end of July to find a party venue for the after party that will have that big blowout
Cool.
party we love to
Yeah.
have.
Well, most of the time we recover from the Blacktop Banter conference kickoff
By the time, yeah.
just in time. Yeah, just in time to go to the event after party. So it'll work out great and fantastic. Except, there's a few people I know that can keep it going. Yeah, and they'll keep it going during the whole way till we get there. Where can people find information on Pavex? And maybe they want to book through there and they want to do whatever that's available, right?
Yeah, so pavexshow.com is our website. We have registration going live very soon. By the time this comes out, it will absolutely be live, and people can be registering for their classes, booking their hotels. I am always available. I know more about this show than I ever thought I would know about any event. So they always can just contact me.
Okay, where can people find you, Jessica, online if they're going to?
That's a really good question. The Pavex Facebook page,
Okay.
or they contact us on pavexshow.com too.
Cool. Sounds like a plan. Jessica,
Marvin.
Thank you so much for attending and being over here with me today. We never really get to spend time together in the summer months.
That's true. We're always so busy.
We are, but we spend a lot of time in the winter months. So you get to see me in full tan, right? I know it's a very impressive. I know. I even shaved my head today just so I could catch a little bit more, which I don't really have to do anymore. But I cannot express how impressed I am with this and you guys doing it from scratch and putting it together. We're very excited for it, as I think the whole industry is excited for it. we'll connect again beforehand. Look for content through Blacktop Banter about Pavex. That'll be coming out here later in the year as we get closer. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us, of course, and then I'll reach out to Jessica or whoever if you want to go that route. That's it. That's it for today.
I am so thankful to be on here and give the opportunity to reach different audiences that we might not have even had the opportunity to do. So
yeah, I think there's something for everybody at Pavex, which is really exciting for me. The guys that are just starting get to come and get an experience, and the guys that have been around and want to do more are going to be able to do that at Pavex. So I really appreciate you bringing that information and stuff to us and everybody in the audience. For myself here in the studio, and Chris, who's behind the camera putting this thing together for us, and for Jessica, our wonderful guest for today, this is Blacktop Banter, and we speak asphalt. Peace.
Hey there, Blacktop Banter fans. This is Hayden. I am the co-founder of Spot On Site. We're asphalt contractors ourselves. We run an asphalt paving company based out of Denver, Colorado. We know this is a game-changing app that will help you measure and mark your locations and your parking lots, document using time-stamped photos, videos, and comments, and send professional-looking reports to your customers. We have a free 14-day trial on spotonsiteapp.com.
Hey, Jessica Lombardo with Pavex, the pavement experience, and I want to invite you all to join us in San Antonio for the first ever event. It will be held January 30th through February 1st at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. We are going to have a live equipment demonstration over 2 days, 60 hours of educational programming, and a full trade show floor with over 75 manufacturers of equipment in the paving and pavement maintenance space. So please join us there, and to learn more and get yourself registered, visit www.pavexshow.com.
When it comes to asphalt tools and supplies, Liberty Supply has darn near everything you need. I actually think the owner, Sam, sleeps on a mountain of spray tips in their warehouse, alongside the pour pots, hot pots, steel brooms, chalk lines, flagging tape, and hundreds of other items. If you call Sam today at 800-397-9907 or visit libertysupply.biz, they'll get you set up with everything you need. For custom and multi-piece stencils, I always turn to Stencil Plus. They've supplied every stencil we use, and these things last a long time. Actually, I should probably call Jeff over at Stencil Plus and just say hi, because it's been a long time since I've had to place an order. Anyway, if you want long-lasting, high-quality stencils, head over to stencilplus.com and save 10% by using the code BB10 during checkout.